Topic is the Department of Social Work, or the program of social work at Tennessee State University, and we have the director of social work at Tennessee State University, Professor Vicki Williams. Professor Williams, let's give you an opportunity to identify some of the programs dealing with social work at Tennessee State University that you think that our audience might be interested in, or at least familiar with, or might be able to give you greater support in reference to these particular programs. Let's do it from that perspective.
Well, the program has been very fortunate in that we have been sponsoring for many years the Center for Aging, which is an elder abuse institute that we have every year over at the Millennial Maxwell House, and we sponsor that conference or institute along with the Adult Protective Services unit within the Department of Human Services. So that's been a very good relationship over the many years. This will be our 18th institute coming up in May of this year. I was very fortunate in that I followed after Dr. Roderick Burton, who was the previous director. And I sort of inherited the fact that he received this allocation from the legislature to pay for this conference, or to sponsor this conference every year. And so the partnership between Adult Protective Services and the Department of Human Services has gone on for almost 18 years. So I was very pleased with that. We're also involved in other kinds of community efforts and programs outside of the university. We're involved with the National Association of Social Workers, for example. They put on a Social Work Day in the Hill every year. And so our students are able to go up to the Hill, to the Capitol, and to interact with politicians as well as attend hearings. And they have an opportunity to see how bills are legislated and to advocate in some ways for some of the legislative bills that are introduced, to have an opportunity to advocate for programs that we believe are in the best interest of our clients or the constituents that we serve.
Let me follow this up, make sure we get this in. What would you say is the status of the elderly, the aged in the state of Tennessee at this particular point? I mean, where do
well,
they
I
stand?
really think that there needs to be more commitment in the state to serve elders. The Adult Protective Services staff, for example, within the Department of Human Services could use additional staff because they provide a lot of services for persons over the age of 65. We do have, though, this coalition that's been formed that came out of the Elder Institute, Tennessee coalition of all the programs that provide services to the elderly, and now they're meeting. They come to every year at the conference, they come from all over the state and meet and address some of the issues that are facing the elderly in Tennessee. And so that's been a wonderful offshoot, so to speak, or a result of the Elder Conference, that we've been able to form this statewide coalition of agencies that serve the elders. I think since this conference has been going on, we now have staff that are very knowledgeable of the issues that impact the elderly.
What are some of the issues for our audience this morning that the elderly?
I think that one of the major issues in this state has been the fact that many elders seem to have to end up in a nursing facility or assisted facility, and they're not able to remain at home, for example. There's not been the support within the state to provide services where they can remain in their homes. Governor Bredesen, on the other hand, was instrumental in passing legislation while he was in office to now provide services to persons who are able to remain at home. And so there is a program in place now for individuals to be able to remain at home and receive certain services. But those individuals have to be fairly active and self-sufficient. But it is an improvement over the fact that many elders ended up going into facilities, nursing facilities, when indeed they probably did not need to have to go into the facilities if in fact there was home care services available for them. So that's been one of the major contributions of Governor Bredesen while he was in office, and the legislators who supported that legislation. Another great thing that has happened since I've been the director is now we have multi-level licensure in the state of Tennessee for social workers. So now we are able to license social workers from the undergraduate baccalaureate level all the way up to the doctoral level. And that's quite a breakthrough, because now we're able to protect the public in the sense that those individuals who are licensed have to engage in continuing education and are held accountable for their interactions with clients. So that contributes, that gives social work a lot of support, that has given social work a lot of support. And I was very pleased to be a part of NESW, National Association of Social Workers, and worked with our lobbyists on Capitol Hill to get that legislation passed in July of 2008. So social work has come a long way in the state in terms of being recognized in the fact that we are probably the highest number of mental health providers in the state of Tennessee. And so my program is doing very well in that we have a master's program right now. We have established an MSW program, a collaborative program with jointly in partnership with Middle Tennessee State University and Austin Peay State University. It's an unusual situation because we're talking about 3 institutions with one program. And it's been very successful. This is the second academic year, and we have almost 90 students for all 3 campuses. So it's been exciting since I've been here.
Okay, well, we're getting ready for our second commercial break, Professor Williams. And when we come back, what I'd like to do is to sort of follow up this idea of health and deal with the federal government by simply inquiring the impact that the recent health bill has had upon what you do at Tennessee State University, and how that's able to either hinder you or help you. And I think that we'll be able to do that during this last segment, and then we'll be able to close the show out for today. But I think that that's an important consideration. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.